I think in terms of growing up the way that I did, so I guess growing up outside of my family, my brother was a substance misuser. I guess within my family, a lot of the adults drank a lot. And I found that I was kind of like the person that was outspoken.
Okay.
And then I guess maybe then going on to have my son, I just found that I'm always in a position where I'm just outspoken. You know, when you're in the class and someone needs to say something and everyone looks at you because you're going to be the person to say it. And that was me.
Okay.
Um, and then although I didn't go straight into social work, I did a degree in psychology, and then I did a course in applied behavioural analysis, and I worked with children with autism.
Hmm.
And then the recession hit, and it was kind of like the work around that in self-employment was kind of like drying up. And I was thinking, oh, I then went into advocacy in terms of family support work and things around that. And I found that, oh, I was good at it. And then my friend said, you know, fill out this application, go and do social work. And I was like, oh, I'm not quite sure if I want to. And then I did, and I did a master's in social work, which was great. I did some international placements, which was brilliant.
Mm.
And I found that I was good at it. But at the same time, there was also some struggles with my brother. And I think the two kind of collided. So I was very much of, when you talk about lived experiences, um, I think the two were side by side.
Mm.
And I remember during my final placement, my brother had passed away. And it was kind of like, oh, this is a lot. So this is all of the stuff that I've experienced. You know, it's the end of my placement, and it also formed a big percentage of my dissertation.
Okay.
So it kind of looked at the care system
Mhm.
from the lived person's experience, which was mine. So as well as him being a substance misuser, he was also a perpetrator of domestic violence.
Okay.
But for me, I just kind of felt that, not to say it was normal, but that's what I've grown up in.
Mm.
So I'm like, what does DV, domestic violence, domestic abuse kind of look like in person?
Mm.
You know, it's not kind of like because maybe they're both fighting or, you know, they get back together. It's that repetitive cycle. But actually for children, it's extremely harmful.
Mm.
And I guess that's the point where I got to. It was kind of like an eye opener that was just kind of like, there's a difference between being in the scenario and when you remove yourself from the scenario and you look at the impact that it's causing, it's like, oh, wow, I didn't see it because I was in it.
Mm.
So therefore, I didn't have the option to look at it in another way. And I think that was another pivotal moment in terms of, oh, now you're doing social work, and you're doing social work because you want to allow people who are raised like you to have voices that they didn't have.
Mhm.
So that was one aspect. And social work is hard.
Yes.
It's always in the media about something in terms of
Mm.
what we should have or
Negative.
shouldn't have
Yeah.
done. And I don't take that away from anybody because there have been some learning moments. And I find that working with families that hate you,
Yes.
and I don't use that word
No,
lightly,
you're right.
but it's not you that they
No.
hate, it's the
System.
system
Yeah, definitely.
and what you represent
Yeah.
in terms of breaking up families and
Mhm.
so forth. And in every profession, you have good and bad. And for every individual, you may be good or bad. But I remember I worked with this particular family. And I remember she used to say something to me whenever you came to visit. As much as you would listen to me, you'd always say something. And I'd be like, what did I say?
Mm.
And she said, you would always say, yeah, and then but. And I was like, but it was significant for her because that she tells her story. Then I said, yeah, and but was a signal for her that maybe she wasn't being truthful and there was something else. And I thought, oh, I'm going to go and do counseling skills. So
Okay.
it gives you like the language to kind of like connect with
Mhm.
people differently. Um, and I loved it. And I was like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah.
And it really helped me to connect with clients that I was
Mhm.
working with. And I thought, oh, I'm going to continue. And then when you continue in the second year, you then have to go on placement and you have to have your own therapy.
Yep.
And I was like,
Oh, is that the first time you had therapy?
that I was consistent with it.
Okay. And that you kind of was like, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to go and find your own therapist. And I think it was like a minimum of like maybe 12 sessions that you were supposed to do. And then I was like 5 years later.
Oh, really?
I'm just like, wow.
I think it's the most amazing, most life-changing thing.
I didn't say awful. I meant to say awesome.
Yeah.
But it's also awful.
Awful, yeah.
Yeah,
and it's the same thing that you said about being prepared to meet yourself.
Yes.
Like, if you're not,
yes,
it don't make sense doing it.
Yes, 110%. And you're going to meet, if you allow yourself to, with the right therapist, you can meet or touch all parts of yourself.
Mate, I actually think it should be like how it is in America, where it's like part of your everyday. It's like going to your GP. That should be a prescription that everybody should have. Personally, that's just my thing.
I agree with you.
That is just my thing. I think I used to look forward to my therapy sessions because it was like, especially being a mum with like children who are, I think at that time my kids were at primary school, and it was just like a quiet space for once because it was always noisy, but also it was my space.
All about you.
And whatever I chose to bring, whatever was happening, and you know, I miss it so much. It's something that I'm working towards doing again. The reason that I'm struggling at the moment is because I've had therapy twice. I had the same therapist, but she's retired, and now it's like
it is difficult, isn't it, when you've connected with someone?
I've got to start from the beginning.
But you're not starting from the beginning.
Well, it feels like it because there was a gap between the first and the second time, but she already knew everything, if that made sense. So it made it like it was continued. You know, like when you watch a series.
Yep.
But now I'm like, oh, I've got to get into a new series, and sometimes it's like, I don't know. Yeah. So that's the bit that feels a bit like hard work. And also she came recommended to me. So it wasn't even like I know about the kind of, you can go on BACP and the kind of the black one, BAATN, all of the,
Yes,
so I know where to, and I've helped other people, like some of my clients, I've helped them to find therapists themselves. So I know how to do it, but it's just like, I don't know if I want to go back. But yeah, it is the greatest thing.
Yes.
And I love that you've even answered my next question, which was what steps you've taken, but you've kind of helped us to see what your journey has looked like. And I think that's really important. But also in there was grief.
Yes, there was a lot of grief. I don't think so. My brother passed away 2011.
Okay.
And it took me a good few years, but it was complex grief.
Yes.
Because his passing wasn't sudden. He was suicidal for many, many years and had many attempts at trying to take his own life before he succeeded.
Oh, wow.
So there was a lot of kind of like blame in terms of myself. Could I have done anything different? Is it something that I said? Was I too harsh? There was just so many things. But then in that grief, I had to remember that I wasn't just grieving him, I was grieving myself. Because actually, he was the only person that I thought shared the same experience as me. And now I've got to have this experience by myself. And I'll say something, and it might sound controversial, I don't know, but this is my experience, that I found in his death, I found my life.